This is K0W. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes. Hey, good evening, everyone watching here. Appreciate you checking back in here on the YouTube. We'll get things started here. And I'll try to stay more on piste with the script that's right in front of me. This is K0W. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode.
PL off.
Thanks for that, Tom. Yeah, very quickly on that. Yeah, I'll never be able to monetize really, but if I get 100 subscribers, I can at least get a custom YouTube or a URL at least. So, yeah, appreciate that. This is hello and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron, and I am Net Control. This is a casual conversation where we can discuss ham radio and STEM topics in general. And thankfully, we have plenty of combined expertise and experience. We meet every Wednesday, except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Both have negative offsets. The 2 meter uses 600 kilohertz and 70 centimeter uses 5 megahertz. Many you transmit on 144.890 or 448.025. You can contact us via, this net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? You can contact us via email if you'd like at drclearningnet@gmail.com. We are also on groups.io/g/ham learning net. And we also stream on youtube.com/WEREGR8. You can also search on YouTube for W0TX or K0W and you should be able to find it there. It's a live stream of this net, past nets, and past meetings and things like that. This is K0W Net Control. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now.
Alpha 0, Juliet Kilo. AA0, JK. Good evening.
Alpha Echo 0, Golf Quebec. AE0, GQ Tom. No traffic.
All right, Net Control would like to welcome and acknowledge the following Elmers: AA0JK Fred and AE0GQ Tom. Thank you both for checking in. I've described it in the past as a subject matter expert, but you don't really even need to be an expert. Just if you have any knowledge on anything radio or electronics related, if you ever want to indicate that, comes with no responsibility. But I'll make one last call, or one more call at the moment. If you'd like to check in as an Elmer to this Learning Net, please call now.
W0TX repeater.
All right. Yeah, don't ever hesitate to do that at any given point. At this point, though, I'll take regular check-ins, and they will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That would be the first letter after the number in your call sign. If you can, please try to use I2 phonetics as you check in, and indicate if you have traffic or questions as you do. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Kilo 0, Bravo Alpha Tango, Art, no traffic. K6HJV, Tom Arvada, no traffic. That's Kilowatt 6 Hotel Juliet Victor. Good evening, Doran.
Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo, Rich in Arvada, no traffic.
All right, Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. K0BAT Art, K6HJV Tom, and WD6 DOK Rich. Thank you all so much for checking in. And online we had WA4 MBG Bob. Thanks for checking in as well. From Pensacola. It's always cool to hear. One more call at the moment. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, and you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, please call now. All right, this is K0WTX Net Control. Might be a quiet evening, but that's okay. I'll go ahead and up to the whole alphabet. We're taking all call suffixes A through Z. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net just for the counter, if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
Kilo Echo 0, November Romeo Echo. Jim in Littleton, no traffic.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, no traffic.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
All right, we're going to hold up there for just a moment. Net Control would like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. KE0NRE Jim, KE0SUM Jonathan, and N0TRP Jim. Thank you all so much for checking in as well. All right, again, this is K0WTX Net Control. This is the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, just a general conversation where we can discuss ham radio and STEM topics, and we have a lot of combined expertise and experience. If you'd like to check in, if you have any traffic or questions for us, let us know. We're taking all call suffixes Alpha through Zulu. Please check in now with your name and let us know if you have any traffic.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo Sierra, Ken in Broomfield, no traffic. Kilo Echo 0, Whiskey India Victor, Lewis and Northglen, no traffic.
All right, this is K0WTX Net Control. I'd like to welcome knowledge of the following check-ins. K0YES Ken and K0W Lewis. Thank you both for checking in as well. All right, this is K0WTX Net Control. There'll definitely be opportunity for official check-ins throughout the net. You can always check in really at any given point as long as there's just a break in the conversation there. If somebody indicated that they had traffic and I missed it, I apologize. But if anybody does have any traffic or questions for the net, please let us know.
As K0W, I've got a general antenna question if somebody had a moment.
Yeah, Whiskey India Victor Lewis, go ahead. That's definitely something we can take here.
I appreciate it. This is K0W Lewis. I'm in North Glen, so I've had a NFED kind of random wire antenna now for 6-7 months, and I've got pretty good reports, and I've been able to get out pretty far with it. It seems like I pick up more noise than I should. I guess, tried to see if it was common mode, and I'd put my connector in to where just the center pin was touching, and then when I touch the ground, it ends up adding a lot more static and stuff like that onto the noise level coming out of it. And I was just kind of curious. I mean, I've done a bunch of random chokes, and I've got a bunch of ferrite beads and stuff like that on it. I was just wondering, is it just going to be that way with an NFED, or if there's something more that I can do homemade would probably be better.
Good question there, K0WIV. This is a K1DBC. Yeah, it sounds like your noise floor is quite high with that NFED in your area there. Anybody have much information on that? Go ahead.
JK with a question.
All right, thanks there, A0JK. And yeah, and Lewis, I also was bringing up your QRZ page too, and it looks like you had on here a 20 copper vertical for portable, and then a 20 meter, 40 meter for fan dial. Okay, so an 80 meter NFED half wave, and it looks like an IC 746 Pro. Are those still the correct information there for the antenna for the half wave and the radio as well?
W0TX repeater.
The radio is the same. I've gotten rid of the fan dipole, and the only reason I've got the NFED is I was trying to get on 80 meters for some local area stuff, and so and I've thought about trying to get a gutter working or something like that for 80, and then switching over to more of a balanced dipole for 40 and 20. I was just, if I could get rid of the noise floor, I like having it on in one antenna. The 746 has another slot for antenna, and I was hoping I'd get 6 meter or just a dedicated 10 meter when it gets a little bit better. That's what I was trying to figure out a way to clean up the noise floor.
All right, sounds good. Hopefully that helped you a little bit there with any prep for your question there, A0JK. But yeah, Fred, go ahead.
A0JK, yeah, I was just curious, may have already answered it, but I was wondering if that was a commercial in-feed antenna or if it was a homebrew.
I've got the Palomar 9-to-1 on it, and just the wire. I think I've got like, 65 feet or something like that on it, and then I've got it grounded to about 40 feet worth of disconnected gutter on my on the ground side.
Okay, just kind of curious whether or not that grounding, especially there to a gutter, whether or not that might have something to do with the noise level. But with the Palomar, that's a pretty good antenna.
Yeah, it works fairly well on FT8 and some other stuff, and I know it's getting out there. It's hard for me to hear anything sometimes, and try to get some low-level signals, and that's why I'm just kind of curious if, I thought choking would help, but it doesn't really seem like it's doing anything. I'm pretty sure it's common mode, and I'm not trying to take up the whole net or anything. I just was, my next step was to get an actual, commercially made inline choke and see if that would help with the common mode.
I think the antenna is just fine. I don't think you're going to improve by adding any other components to it. Just kind of curious about the way it's grounded, or the counterpoise, as we commonly refer to, and the vicinity of which that is related to the housing, wiring, and what have you. Might want to try to avoid anything like that and get that antenna itself out and away from the house. And what kind of an environment are you in? You a single-family dwelling, or what are the living conditions there? You got any neighbors that might be creating that noise? A0JK.
A0JK, K0WIV. Yeah, I'm in an urban not all multi, but single family. But it's North Glen. I got neighbors and all that. Got a substation, maybe about a half mile away from me, and I thought that's what it was. But it really doesn't seem like it gets, I don't know. I've tried doing directional and all that. I've got a transformer in my backyard. I've thought about calling the power company and seeing if it happened, but I'm not sure if it's really common mode or if it's, I guess I'm trying to figure out if it's actually AC line noise or, something like that. As far as the counterpoise, I have the whole line grounded right before it enters into where I've got my radio and stuff. And, it has a good ground rod. So I know the outside sheath is connected to ground. And then the counterpoise is, I had some wires up there, and then I figured, hey, I might as well just tap into the gutter right there because it was about the same length, and it seemed all right. I just, trying to clean up the noise is the big thing, and I have a feeling I'm going to have to go to a balanced dipole and then see if that was any better was my next thought.
Okay. I think you mentioned that you had some other antennas there, dipoles, and some other antennas there that you were using. Just kind of curious what the noise situation is with those. But I wouldn't be adding anything that's not recommended or came with that antenna. So don't be adding anything that might compound the problem there. Just follow Polymer's directions for installation, and don't add anything to it. I don't think 80 is exactly the quietest band to begin with, but keep us posted on how things turn out. A0JK.
NRE comment.
K0W, I'm not sure. I haven't done a lot on this net. NRE, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead, NRE. Yeah.
One question about your grounding system. You mentioned that you had it connected to a ground rod. Is that ground rod bonded to the other grounds for the electrical system of your house, or is it just an isolated grounding rod stuck somewhere randomly elsewhere away from your entry panel?
And that might be the nail on the head now I'm really thinking about. I mean, it's probably about crow flies 30 feet away from the service panel, and it's not connected at this point. It's a weird spot for me to try to get some copper going between the two, because there's like a walkway and a breezeway, and I wasn't really sure, with the grounding wire going up and around, because it'll probably be a 50-foot line going around some places, and I might the best way would be to go in an attic. I might have to get an extension cord or something and just temporarily and see if that helps. Or do you think the AC grounding of the system with an outlet would figure out if that's the issue?
K0NRE. I had a similar experience with a grounding rod I installed for my dipole antenna, trying to use it on 80 meters, and it's 80 meters is inherently a noisy band, so that was part of it. But I discovered that if I disconnected my dipole from that grounding rod, in fact, the noise level went down. So I suspect that there's probably something peculiar going on with an independent ground system. Maybe it's due to other electrical activity in your house. Maybe it's due to something going on in your neighbor's yard or elsewhere in the area. But if there's a way for you to either disconnect that ground or connect it to the grounding system for the rest of your house, not through the grounding lug on an appliance or anything, or on your receiver, but directly to the kind of bonding that's done for the rest of the electrical system of the house, that might be a way to further diagnose and correct the problem. Back to net, KE0NRE.
K0NRE, K0W. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think that might have to be one of the long weekend projects. I'll probably just get some, I got some 16 gauge or 14 gauge. I'm sure that that at least clean it up, or at least tell me if it's a noise issue from the grounding. I'm not saying it's a necessarily NEC code or anything, but that would tell with the static or the noise for reduction or make it worse, correct? I think just using like a 16 gauge or 18 gauge.
That would be a good place to start. If you can't tell a difference, that's probably not the source of the problem. But if it makes a perceptible difference, if it really looks like it's going to clean things up, then it may be worth the investment to do a proper bonding for your ground systems there and elsewhere on your antennas. Back to net, KE0NRE.
W0TX repeater.
Comment?
And I'll let anyone else that has a question or anything. I appreciate the info, everyone. KE0WIP, back to net.
All right, thanks there, everyone, for the follow-up at NRE. And yeah, hopefully WIV that somewhat answered your question there. I think there was a double there. I think it was maybe A0GQ, but if somebody was just trying to call in and I didn't call your call sign there, go ahead.
Yes, sir, GQ, and it was a comment.
Yeah, A0GQ, go ahead.
Okay, I have a few questions, too, about this thing, if you don't mind. First off, you keep saying common mode noise. Common mode noise is just a way to get into your shack, and it also turns your coax into an antenna. It's the shield of your coax. Just a moment. Sorry about that. I am back. Anyhow, it's just it's a way in, and disconnecting the outer connector and just using the center pin is not a good way of checking for that, I'm sorry to say, because you got enough capacity of coupling, even though it's not connected, that it's not going to make that much of a difference. The other thing is, when you say you got a 9-to-1 unan, did you supply your own wire, or was that part of the kit from Palomar?
I supplied my own wire.
Okay, you also say you have an in-fed half-wave. Actually, I think what you have is a in-fed random length rather than a half-wave. For 80 meters, half-wave would be 133 feet, for example. And for 40 meters, it would be 66, so hopefully you aren't exactly at 66. The reason I'm saying that is a true in-fed half-wave, the unan's going to be a 49-to-1, not a 9-to-1. So I think you're using a non-resonant in-fed antenna there. That does tend to require the so-called counterpoise, which is really a capacitive coupling to ground. I would not use your gutter for that. If I think that's a really bad choice, primarily because gutters tend to have some really lousy bonding between the sections, and they tend to turn into diodes, among other things. They can actually generate noise.
I'm pretty sure you're definitely correct with the fact that it is a random wire at that point. It's somewhere between 60 and probably 70, I think it's about 62 or something like that when it was all said and done and I wrapped it up. And so it's about, the reason I use the gutter is it's about 15 feet above my roof line is where I've actually got the unit. And at one point in time, I had some 45-degree wires that went up from the ground and then kind of just tied off to corners of my roof, not really grounded or anything like that, in a perpendicular to where the infed was going out. And when I moved some stuff around, that's why I tried the gutter, and they go from there. But, yeah, as far as everyone's and their comments and going from there, I think at this point, what I'm going to plan on doing over the long weekend is probably going back to using some copper and then trying the bonding thing at this point, or copper rather, going instead of trying to get to the gutter and then testing out bonding to my service connection.
A0GQ, that does make sense. And yes, I'm also in the same sort of urban area that you're in. You're talking about power lines. The other thing you might want to look around, unfortunately, is take a look around for solar panels because they tend to be prodigious noise generators, unfortunately. So see if your neighbors, anybody got some solar panels stuck on their roof, that can really bite you, unfortunately. The other one is grow lights. So if you have anybody that's raising strange green plants, that can also unfortunately get you to, but I don't suppose you want to ask around about that for any reason or not. The other thing you might consider doing is if you got an FM portable radio, go put it on a quiet spot and wander around your neighborhood. Or if you have one that can pick up aircraft. And the problem with the FM is it's not going to be that sensitive to an AM noise source. But if you've got like a handy-talkie that can pick up the aircraft bands, because those are AM, go wander around your neighborhood and see if you can track down some noise sources there. Those would be the suggestions, and we expect you to come back next week and tell us what happened, Lewis. A0GQ back to net.
A0GQ, K0W. I appreciate all the info, and I've walked around like a complete weirdo with the radio trying to look at power poles and all that kind of stuff, but I did pick up one of those little shortwave kind of AM multi-frequency receivers, and I used that. I didn't really get anything of specifically standing under a pole or my transformer in the backyard or neighbors' houses or anything like that. And luckily, I don't have any solar panels, at least within the, at least 1,000, 2,000 feet or so of my house. There is some around, but they're not necessarily very close. And yeah, I was scrolling through, and I know I've been, a member of the Denver Radio Club or whatnot, but I never really did too much when COVID and all that happened, and I run a net on the Colorado connection on Wednesday, so I never really make it over here. But anyway, that's enough talking on my part. K0WIV back to net.
All right, there, K0WIV Lewis. Yeah, welcome into the fold here. There's a lot to learn and a lot of fun things to try and test out. So yeah, glad. Thanks there, A0GQ Tom, for the follow-up as well. Yeah, there's a lot of information there. Sounds like it ended up being a random length end-fed end-fed antenna due to that 9-to-1 balun. yeah, just some testing there, and it sounds like you're going to be doing some other things. So, yeah, glad you could be here. Yeah, don't ever hesitate. Yeah, this is an hour-long conversation, and it's a very quiet evening, so that's not a problem. All right, I guess I'll throw it out. Anyone else on that topic? Anything else you want to throw out there? Otherwise, I'll take check-ins here in just a minute. This is K0W Net Control. Yep, checking out the QRZ. All right. All right. This is K1DBC Net Control. If you've just tuned in, my name is Daron. Call sign is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. I am Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. It's an on-air meeting for radio amateurs seeking help, and Elmers giving their time to help us. It's just a general Q&A about electronics, ham radio, s.t.e.m, s.t.e.m. We have a lot of experience and expertise, so if you'd like to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, please check in if you can with your ITU phonetics with your name, call sign, and state if you have any traffic or questions for the net. Please call now.
W0TX repeater.
W0 Foxtrot Charlie, Jerry, no traffic.
This is K1DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome all of the following check-ins. W0 FFC Jerry, thanks for checking in. All right, one more time. This is K1DBC Net Control. Again, we are streaming on YouTube if you'd like to check that out. If you have a smartphone or smart TV, you can always bring it up on there. YouTube.com /WERE GR8 Whiskey Edward Romeo Edward Golf Romeo 8. You can also just search on YouTube for K1DBC, my call sign Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie, or our club's call sign W0TX. Appreciate any involvement there. So on the air, though, if you'd like to check in for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, we're taking all call signs. Please call now. Yes, getting to 100 subs at least lets me change that, so I can just put youtube.com /K1DBC. So that's the only thing I'm really looking forward to. Or within my limit, really.
A0GQ, I do have a question for the net.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, don't hesitate to check in at any given time, and I'll probably take check-ins once more here. With that, though, AE0GQ, Tom, go ahead.
Does anyone have any experience with any of the Microstrip filter calculators other than the QUCS, the Quite Universal Circuit Simulator, which hasn't been developed for, since 2017. If anybody's had any experience with the online ones or something like that, I own PSpice, but it doesn't do much in Microstrip. So if anybody has any information on that, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Back to that, A0GQ. And Ron, I realize that's a rather niche question, which may not be addressed. A0GQ.
No problem. I'm just trying to wrap my head around that. It sounds like a microstrip filter calculator is it's for helping to calculate or emulate, simulate maybe low pass, band pass filters, and in software get them set up before you make a hardware production run. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It should give you the design, the sizes, and shape of the elements. I'm looking for something around, I want to do some work around 23 centimeter, so Hamband.
I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. I mean, I think on one of the Hackaday articles there was something. Maybe it was one of the tools that we've mentioned in the past, EasyNeck maybe, or something similar to that. But there's definitely something I thought I heard about trying to simulate or emulate filters and design the circuit. So I don't know though. Anyone there do any circuit design professionally or hobbyist know of any products that would do that? Go ahead. All right, A0GQ. Yeah, if I can find it, what it was, it may have been a couple years ago. I'm not too sure. I'll try to dig it up. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of software development, software-defined radio, I guess what it is. So there should be some way to definitely test that stuff and emulate that stuff. So yeah, I don't know if you have any other follow-up on that. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, sir. As I say, honestly, it was a long shot, but I was hoping that somebody might have some idea. So again, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I would like to point out that if you played the sound, I guessed last week, but I kept it to myself. However, you know what it was, so I want credit. A0GQ, back to Ned.
All right, we will get to that. Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good there. What was the other thing? The Nano or the VNA Saver, I thought had some things on there like that. I'm sure you've probably heard of that. I thought you mentioned that as well too. So the Nano or the VNA Saver software as well. All right, this is K0W Net Control. I guess this might be a good time actually to roll into What's That Sound. So I'll play a sound that we heard last week. I'll play it again here. It's just for kicks, and we can guess what it is. I will be revealed over the air today. So I will be able to play it over the air. And again, this is what we played just at the end of the net last week. So let's roll into that.
NBC.
This is a journey into sound.
What's that sound?
What's that sound?
All right, this is K0W Net Control. I'm going to go ahead and play a sound over the air now, and we can guess what it is. So let me drop, and I will go ahead and play that. This is K0W Net Control. This is amateur radio related. I guess it would be some of the early history of amateur radio. If anybody wants to take a guess. Tom did get it correct last week, only though because he submitted it the week before. But if anybody wants to take a guess, this is K0W Net Control. Go ahead.
W0TX.
Yeah, AA0JK. Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, who's Victor Echo 3 Delta Kilo Uniform?
This is K0W Net Control. I think I maybe have accidentally played that part. That's not really too pertinent. I don't know who that is. I think it's the person playing it. You could cheat and find what it is, but based on that. But it's has nothing to do with that person. It's really just early history radio from amateur radio. Very specific type of radio. A transmitter. So go ahead. If anybody wants to take another guess, go ahead. This is K0W. I'll actually go ahead and play it once more as well. This is K0W Net Control. You could say that another clue here is you've seen this before. You've seen kind of a representation of this, at least if you've been a part of the Denver Radio Club. Not hearing anything on the air. Okay, I'll try it once more here.
Yeah, I've just been hearing a CQ, 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 and then that Victor Echo 3 call sign.
A0GQ, that may be coming from the YouTube rather than. I honestly am not hearing anything on the air.
All right, let me try this once more. I'm just holding up my microphone over to my. So let me just make sure. Are you guys hearing it at least through the YouTube? This is K0W. Okay, let me check something here. All right, can somebody confirm if you can hear it, if you were hearing it through the YouTube? Net control. I'm going to go ahead and try this once more. I'm just holding up my microphone to my my laptop and just playing it through there. So let me just try this once more here, at least over the air. Oh my God. Okay. You want to play a joke on a guy? That's good. Okay. Holy God, that took me too long. This is K0W Net Control. I think there was a prank being played on me. I think. So, thank you guys for that. I appreciate that. Can somebody identify what that's done with? Let's just clarify. What type of transmitter was that done with? Let's clarify, guys. Unless it wasn't a joke. Anyway. All right.
A0JK?
Yeah, A0JK, go ahead.
Spark gap?
So yeah, I don't know. I'll have to go back and listen to it. Hopefully it was at least audible over the air. Hopefully it wasn't too undiscernible. But yeah, as Fred mentioned there, and A0JK mentioned as well, that is a spark gap transmitter. So it seems like the audio would be better. Hopefully, we'll see though. I'll play the video here for you guys online as well once more. All right, this is K0W Net Control. I'm guessing since this one is homemade, it may not be as loud as something that you may have been expecting, and it was definitely louder over the YouTube. But appreciate everyone on that. So yeah, spark gap transmitter. I can drop and pass some information on that here. It's a type of radio transmitter which generates radio waves by means of an electric spark. Spark gap transmitters were the first type of radio transmitter and were the main type used during the wireless telegraphy or spark era. The first three decades of radio from 1887 to the end of World War I. German physicist Heinrich Hertz built the first experimental spark gap transmitters in 1887. With which he provided the existence of radio waves and studied their properties. All right. Well, thanks again for everyone for hanging in there with that one. I'll need to check on that the next time here. So with that, though, we still have about 10-15 minutes left here in the net. If anybody has any check-ins, questions, comments, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, please call now.
A0GQ with a comment.
Yeah, A0GQ, go ahead.
The first detector for spark gap transmitters was not headphones and a galena crystal. It was something called a coherer, which was a cup filled with fine iron filings in it. And as the signal came in, it would generate enough current that the iron filings, it would generate a magnetic field, and the iron filings would clump together. They had a vibrator, a mechanical vibrator on this cup of iron filings, so you really didn't hear your Morse code. You saw it as these iron filings would clump together when it received a signal. So just a little trivia for you. A0GQ.
All right, sounds good there, A0GQ. Yeah, interesting bit of information there. The coherer and iron filings, and you would see that visually. So, yeah, that's really interesting what happened at during that century, and what we were able to find out with this kind of stuff. Really, really kind of crazy. All right, this is K0W Net Control. Anyone else on spark gap transmitters, coherers, anything else we brought up, or anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, we have another 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes or so. I can see if I have... I definitely can bring some things up here. But if anybody else has anything else, just at the moment, feel free to let me know. Please call out. All right. Like to always watch or read a blog, hackaday.com. Really good information about electronics engineering. This article is entitled "Where's That Radio?" It's a brief history of direction finding from August 19th by Al Williams. Great graphics they always do as well at the top of these articles. So this goes into kind of the brief a basic history of radio direction finding. First paragraph here, we think of radio navigation and direction finding as something fairly modern. However, it might surprise you that direction finding is nearly as old as radio itself. 1888, Heinrich Hertz noted that signals were strongest when in one orientation of a loop antenna and weakest 90 degrees rotated. By 1900, experimenters noted dipoles exhibit similar behavior, and it wasn't long before antennas were made to rotate either to maximize signal or locate the transmitter. Of course, there's one problem. You can't actually tell which side of the antenna is pointing to the signal with a loop or a dipole. So if the antenna is pointing north, the signal might be to the north, but it could also be the south. So John Stone patented a system. So if the antenna is pointing north, the signal might be north, but it could also be south. Still, in some case, that's not enough information. So patented a system. John Stone patented a system in 1901. Well-known radio experimenter Lee D. Forrest also had a novel system in 1904. These systems all suffered from a variety of issues. At shortwave frequencies, multipath propagation can confuse the receiver, and while long-wave signals need very large antennas, most of the antennas moved. But some, like one by Marconi, used multiple elements and a switch. Yeah, quite a bit more information there. Again, article entitled "Where's That Radio? A Brief History of Radio Direction Finding." Hackaday.com. HACKADAY.com. Another great blog to read. Very radio focused. RTL-SDR.com. Romeo Tango Lima Sierra Delta Romeo.com. Plenty of really cool stories and articles here. One talks about using a voice hotspot. How he's using set up a receive only a digital voice hotspot like your micro or MMDVM, the Pi Star and things like that. You can build one with a Raspberry Pi or probably a Raspberry Pi and a software defined dongle. Let's see, what was another article that I had seen the other day here? Oh yeah, on August 23rd, they released an article, the SDRA 2021 talks, which highlights a few talks that was given at the Software Defined Radio Academy conference. It was held online June 26th and 27th and uploaded to YouTube. Some interesting talks this year include a presentation on various software-defined radio-related topics, including electrosense, which is a... excuse me, let me drop here for a moment. It's a crowd-sourced initiative to collect and analyze spectrum data. So you can use a software-defined radio to feed your data, and in mass, people can then analyze that data. So great talk on that. An interesting talk on 21-centimeter radio astronomy with low-cost SDR, And interesting one that I found, or interesting, was that using deep learning neural networks for automatic signal identification. This was given by Stefan Scholl, Delta Charlie 9 Sierra Tango, talk titled Classification of Shortwave Radio Signals with Deep Learning. He goes in to speak about automatic mode classification of radio signals in the HF band is a valuable tool for band monitoring, operation of rare transmission modes, and future applications of cognitive radio. In recent years, machine learning has been established as a general and very powerful approach to classification problems. The presentation first provides an introduction to neural networks and deep learning. The neural nets are applied to the task of radio signal classification. The result is an experimental deep convolution neural net, CNN, that can distinguish between 18 different transmission modes occurring in the HF band, such as AM, single sideband, Morris, RTTY, Olivia, etc. So really, really cool what we can do with machine learning. I mean, it was only a matter of time before we started to analyze these signals and be able to classify them. So just think about the future. You can hold up an app on your phone, and it'll be like, God, I forget the one, but you can ask it, what's this song? And it'll just give it back to you. You can say, what's this signal? And it'll just give back, oh, this is FT8. This is RTTY. So more info over on their YouTube, rtl-sdr.com. And this is an article from August 23rd.
Okay, I'd like to
also check out the Software Defined Radio Academy YouTube webpage as well. They have their talks on there. Quite a few on here, it looks like. So going on for a few years now. So a lot of signal analysis and algorithms and Raspberry Pi, software defined radios. So definitely interrelated here. All right, this is K0W Net Control. I'll go ahead and drop for a moment and see if anybody has any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net. Otherwise, I may find one or two more things here, and we can start to wrap things up. So I'll throw it out to the net. Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Please call now. All right, this is K0W Net Control. I was just trying to see if I could find another article here. There's always interesting things on here. Amateur radio related. I seem to forget to bookmark them. So, again, once more, this is K0W Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Any other comments, questions, check-ins at the moment? Please call now. All right, this is K0W Net Control. I guess the only other little piece here was, again, another article on Hackaday.com. Boot camp, or Born Hack is a summer camp for in Europe, in Denmark. Just a hacker camp. So they had just a lot of electronics and things like that, and they had a ham radio station as well under the call sign Oscar Zulu 1 Hotel 4 Charlie Kilo. A mouthful there. So yeah, just interesting thing there. All right, this is K0W Net Control. I guess the big things always right now, or at the moment, it's hurricane season, and Hurricane Ida, and Gulf Coast there, so definitely listen to the any of the emergency nets, any of the weather nets, see how you could participate or help. And yeah, everything that's going on in the world right now, there's a lot of commotion, unfortunately. So yeah. Yeah, I don't have much else at the moment, really. I guess I'll throw it out again. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the Denver Radio Club Hamband Learning Net this evening? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I guess I'll just try to find here one quick thing. Pretty active YouTuber nowadays, I think, is Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo. Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo, yeah. Pretty active. He streamed from the Huntsville Hamfest, so you can find some videos there. They also do this, it seems like, almost daily or at least weekly, these amateur radio roundtables. So just another place to check things out too. So he's got a lot of things going on there too. So Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo.com for more info on him as well. His name is Tom. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll probably start to wrap things up. I'll probably give one more opportunity after that to any other late check-ins or any late traffic or anything. But let me just cover some club business, excuse me, and we can go from there. More info on our club, the Denver Radio Club, on our website, whiskey0tangoxray.org. Our upcoming meeting is going to be September 15th. Presentation is RF and Earthquakes, presented by Alex Schwartz, VE7 Delta X-Ray Whiskey. He's in British Columbia, exploring the possibility that RF signatures detected by the RF seismograph propagation tool could also be indicating earthquakes and may even be able to predict them shortly before they occur. A real-time HF propagation monitoring tool developed by Schwartz and MDSR team. The RF seismograph shows both band noise and band activity alone on 6 HF bands. It's a project of the North Shore Amateur Radio Club, NSARC. That's a quote from the QST, February 2019. So he's going to give a presentation on kind of everything we spoke there. He's advanced ham and graduate of university in Austria, moved to Canada in 1990 and started working with communication systems, digital point-to-point wireless. And 2005 he started to work with the biomedical engineering department at the C.W. Hospital, Vancouver. He's interested in finding low-cost, easily accessible technological solutions for applications that would otherwise be overlooked or limited to specialized and expensive equipment. So, very cool talk there, it sounds like. RF and Earthquakes by Alex Schwartz. This takes place, again, September the 15th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. If you go to our website, W0TX.org, halfway down the page, there's a link to the meet.google page where you can join that meeting as well. Again, I do archive these on my YouTube, so if you ever miss a monthly meeting, I have been archiving those for about a year now. So it'll also be a live stream on there as well. So there... at 6 o'clock, there's also an Elmers session, just a very similar to what we did this evening here, just a very general Q&A about electronics, ham radio, things like that. So feel free to join that as well. Everyone is welcome. You don't need to be a ham radio operator. And yeah, love to see you there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Anyone have any other last-minute comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for this net this evening? Please call now. Okay, with that then, I guess I'll start to wrap things up. Definitely appreciate more people here on YouTube joining out, chatting on here. Nice to see that. Again, you're more than happy to like if you'd like a video or comment. Leave a comment. Don't ever hesitate to. Subscribing, it just makes it easier just to find it down the line. There's no monetization, never really ever will be. So, again, everyone, appreciate being here. We had a total of 13 check-ins this evening, so really appreciate that. Hopefully winding down the summer, winding down these wildfires and some of the heat, and hopefully getting into some cooler seasons here. So let me drop and we'll wrap things up. All right, this is K0W Net Control. Sorry for the script on my screen here, looks a little funky. This is a very casual net, so you're more than welcome to just jump in any given Wednesday. At any given time, I'm more than happy to help you out with check-ins or facilitating this this meeting here. But if you want to do it more formally, you're more than happy to email us, drclearningnet@gmail.com. If you want to set a date to act as net control operator or guest Elmer, you may do so via email at any time. Also, don't forget to visit our public mailing list at groups.io/g/ham learning net. All right, this net couldn't take place without the Denver Radio Club or the Elmers or anyone who participates in this and keeps it going. Don't want to do an NPR spiel, but yeah, you never have to donate or anything. This is we're all done. This is all done on a volunteer basis, and we are really happy to put this on and continue to do this. So thanks for continually showing up and participating in this net. Again, we thank the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their infrastructure and their repeaters for this. Again, every Wednesday, except for the third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m., or you can join us here 7:30 p.m. For this meeting every Wednesday. But on the third Wednesday, again, as mentioned, 6 p.m. it's an Elmers session prior to the regularly scheduled Denver Radio Club meeting at 7. Again, this takes place all online. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Yeah, put it into net mode here. Again, thanks for joining us here this evening. Join us next week for the next Learning Net. So with that, 7-3 to all. K0WDBC, I'm glad to hear everyone's voice here. All stations, please stand by while the repeaters are placed into normal mode.
PL on.
All right, this is K0WC Net Control, 7-3 to all. I'm clear, and I'll talk to you all next week.
W0TX repeater.
Thanks again, everyone, for joining me on here. Glad to see the numbers are growing at least in the right way. Yeah, I mean, as mentioned, you never have to like or subscribe or anything. The only thing that it benefits me really is at 100 subscribers, I'll be able to get just youtube.com/K1DBC, something like that, instead of this WEREGR8. So again, it also just makes it easier to find it. So probably preaching to the choir here, but don't ever hesitate to make any suggestions of any content you like to see. I'm thinking about maybe starting to ask people to send me their things. You know, in fact, actually, if you look me up on ULS, you can find my address, and I'm actually opening it up. If anybody wants to start sending me what they would consider their junk or something they'd throw away or they want to show off or something like that, like an unboxing or something like that, don't ever hesitate to do that. I'm going to start doing that. Again, I'm not probably like a normal YouTuber where they would have a P.O. box because our address is already online anyway. So yeah, feel free to send me information or send me whatever you want, software, hardware, old radio, but don't make it a burden to yourself. If it's I do also have a donation link as well. I've never really talked about that because I don't. I'd have to actually find what it is. I might start doing that, but again, I never want to really start taking money for this really, but if you want to hand that out, that's I'm more than happy to do that. I'm glad to put in the effort to do this. So yeah, I don't have donations just set up at the moment, but I guess I'll look into that. If you want to send me a radio, I'll take a radio, whatever you got, whether for loan or use or whatever it is. I'm more than happy to show it off and put it on the air here. So let me know. Yeah, I don't want you to go out of your way to ship anything heavy or expensive, but you know, just like any kind of normal YouTuber, I'd love to start receiving things and opening up, unboxing people's electronics and just old riffraff and things like that. So yeah, I'll have to put something more official together on that. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I have at the moment that I wanted to bring up. Yeah, appreciate everyone being here. So hopefully I'll get any of the audio straightened out. I don't know if there was any too many issues, but appreciate everyone being here. With that, I'll throw it out to the chat here real quick. Does anybody have anything else you want to bring up here? Otherwise, I'll probably just wrap things up here. I can show you real quick. My other screen is slowly getting crazier and crazier here. This is my new soundboard or my new audio mixer, voice meter potato. Bunch of hardware inputs allows for, and a bunch of virtual inputs and a bunch of outputs. So I've been messing around with that and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, don't see anything here. So yeah, appreciate everyone checking things out, and yeah, have a good evening. I'll talk to you guys next week.
NBC Television.